All right, we're going to be doing something a little bit different this time around. We're going to be switching up, this channel a little bit. I'm going to title this video Reselling in 2026. See, it has come to my notice that a lot of resellers are actually giving up on this reselling game. They are giving up, throwing in the towel and saying, this thing doesn't work. Something has to be wrong somewhere, putting in a lot of effort, and they are realizing, very little returns for their efforts. And I'm thinking to myself, yes, I understand that something is fundamentally wrong, and this is because a lot of people are still doing reselling the old way. This was a method that used to work, back in the days. Things were much easier. You go to a thrift store, you pick up some stuff, you bring them home, clean them up, you list them on a platform, say eBay, boom, and it says you are happy. You put that system on rinse and repeat. This was the old method, and a lot of people kind of love this method. I kind of love this method back in the days because things were much, much easier. It was easier to kind of find items, but quite recently, I'm telling you from my experience, I'm taking a look at the landscape, and I'm realizing that also something doesn't add up. There necessarily have to be a better way to play this game. And each time I take a look at people selling online, say eBay, because I pretty much sell on eBay, I'm an eBay person, I consistently see people still doing things the old way, an old way that ultimately is going to guarantee burnout. It's going to guarantee you coming to a point where you're going to say to yourself, this doesn't work. I think I'm going back to get a traditional job. And I was looking at YouTube, TikTok. I kind of find out that there are not so many people talking about this thing. The kind of messaging you have out there is just people telling you about the fact that reselling is beautiful. This is what you can get. I was in this thrift store. I got this so many items, and I'm going to go ahead and list them. You have to keep listing. You have to keep listing. Of course, it's not like a bad thing to say, respect to those that make this kind of content. But I kind of realized that the real business, topics, the real topics that kind of, hammer on the things that you face as a reseller is conspicuously missing. I mean, I'm telling you, at this point, I have literally watched, dozens of YouTube videos about reselling. Sometimes I come to the warehouse. I do not have a lot of stuff to do like today. I'm just here chilling out and taking a look at YouTube videos. And it is consistently the same. Of course, I get it. There is a reselling side of YouTube, which is to make videos that appeals to the algorithm, which is the YouTube algorithm, because this is another kind of business. You can actually make videos. In case you didn't know, you can actually just set out to make reselling content on YouTube, hit the algorithm, hit it very, very hard, and you can actually make money doing that. I'm telling you, you can even make more money, just being a content creator about reselling than actually reselling itself. How do I know this? I have other YouTube channels, and I see the revenue that comes from this channel. It's not particularly a big channel. I have a tech channel where I talk about, the kind of pieces I sell, posing people what kind of pieces they should buy. And I also have a faceless channel that I run, and the RPM on these videos, I can tell you that if you just make content creation your job, believe me, you can actually, make a lot of profit and even put the process on autopilot to the point that you can even make more money just being a content creator about reselling than the actual, reselling itself. But because I love reselling, something I've come to know, I kind of make more money being a reseller than being a content creator the way it stands. And I also realized that there are a lot of people out there that also, believe in this process, of reselling stuff. You like this kind of adrenaline that comes from reselling. You ultimately would love, to be a reseller. You want to go out there, buy stuff. You want to be able to bring them home, clean them up and sell them on the platform. But most of you have gone out to try and realize that there's a roadblock somewhere. Something doesn't work, and there has to be a way to do this, and you go onto YouTube, try to check, why am I having this kind of problem? Why is everything kind of a shit show? Why is nothing working? Why do I have all these kind of inventories and nothing seems to be selling? And you go onto YouTube and you realize that nobody is actually making this content that addresses the daily problems that you're going to face if you want to toe this line of business, or if you want to make this your full-time income. Nobody's actually telling you one-on-one, young man, this is what you're going to face, this is what's going to happen, these are the challenges that you're going to face. It is very, very, very tough out there. You see, remove all the glamour that you see on these YouTube videos that tend to get a lot of views. It is very, very tough out there, and these are the real, business topics that are conspicuously missing here on YouTube. I'm not going to say that 100% of the videos. Here and there are pockets of videos, addressing these topics, but I'm going to be switching up this channel to the point where I'm going to focus on those business, related topics, those real life, everyday challenges, the set of circumstances that you face, that you're going to be facing if you set out to do this business. I'm going to tell you, there are a lot of them. There are literally thousands of different circumstances that you're going to be facing, or to make sure that the business that you are trying to set out just don't succeed. And these things, somebody needs to talk about it. And one way or the other, I'm going to be switching this channel up. Of course, here and there, I'm still going to be making my regular content. But the idea is to really tell you one-on-one what I have been passing through, what I have learned also as a reseller. I've put in there about 10 up to 12 years in this business, and I've gotten a lot of experience. And quite recently, I'm also thinking perhaps this might be the best time to begin to invest in the people that have said to themselves, look, I think I want to make reselling my way of life. I want to make a livelihood from this business. I want to invest myself. I want to put in the work to actually be a reseller, not just the YouTube reseller. I want to be a regular reseller that goes out there, to buy stuff, get in those stuff, clean them up, and begin to sell them for profit. I'm thinking to myself, this might be a good time to actually, think of raising some army of young men, young women that will say to themselves, I am tired of the bullshit I hear on YouTube. I'm tired of, just me, taking a look at what sold videos. I want to actually see what are those challenges, what are those things I'm going to be dealing with on a daily basis. I'm telling you guys, there are a legion of them. See, there's the issue that has to do with inventories, where to get these inventories. A lot of people want to do this reselling, but it's so hard to get a responsible information that will tell you one-on-one where to actually get these inventories. Like I said in the beginning of these videos, something definitely has to be wrong somewhere. You are going out there to buy inventories, spending a lot of hours, sometimes driving hundreds of kilometers just to bring in stuff. And when you bring those stuffs, you try to list them on the platform. First of all, sometimes it takes so long for the items to sell. And when it does sell, you can't even seem to realize your profit, because a greater part or a greater quantity of the item that you have bought, they're just sitting in the corner as dead pies. You cannot never sell those items. Even though the items kind of look good, it looks like something that somebody will actually go ahead and buy, but one way or the other, those items cannot be sold. And because of that, it erodes whatever profit you must have made. If you had gone out to buy a pallet, you realize that you can no longer, realize the profit, just because a fraction of what you have bought is sitting down there. And the question you might be having right now is, there must be a better way to do this thing. Of course, you are not alone asking these questions. I'm telling you, it took me literally years of asking these questions to finally figure out that, yes, definitely there is a better way to doing this business, a better way that works with our current realities, that works with the current environment in which we operate. I sell on eBay. There are other marketplaces out there. There's Whatnot, there's Facebook, there's Amazon, and so on and so forth. This is the current reality. You see, 10 years ago, things were pretty much different. There were not so much of these competitor platforms. Things are kind of different now. People are pretty much able to compare prices easily and there are more items, even more than ever before, waiting to be sold. And if you continue to do this business the way it was done 10, 12 years ago, you are going to be burnt out. I'm telling you from experience because I have pretty much seen it all. I'm not going to say that I have seen everything that is meant to be seen because every day I keep learning new things, but I have seen a lot. And the question that I kept asking for the better part of 4 years was, there has to be a better way, to doing this business. Reselling is already a very, very difficult game to play. But the fact that you still have to go out there, the little money you have, you put it on inventories, and one way or the other, the inventory sits forever, nobody's buying it. Definitely, there has to be a better way, to do this. And I'm thinking that, look, in the new year, in line with the current changes I'm going to be doing to this channel, showing you guys everyday challenges, pushing the content to the point of telling you exactly what are the shit shows that you're going to be experiencing and how to actually avoid them. I might have to be, creating small trainings, get a group of young men that are interested, train them, kind of brainstorm on a better way to do this thing. It doesn't matter if you sell electronics, you sell clothing, you sell books. There must be a better way, to do this business. Of course, I have found a better way to do it and pretty much has helped me minimize my exposure, the risk of just losing money or because you want to be a reseller. Of course, it's kind of a fanciful thing to say I'm a reseller, but of what benefit is it if you are a reseller and you are making no profit? There has to be a better way to do this, and the better way has to be communicated to the people, of course, not to you that just want to be, that YouTube reseller just coming out here to only talk about the wins. That better way has to be communicated to that person that says, look, I'm tired of only just watching the beautiful part of reselling. I want to know the traps. I want to know the dangers on the way. I want to know how I can avoid them. I want to know how I can minimize my risk, because I have said several times on this channel, you make profit in reselling the moment you go out there to buy stuff, not necessarily when you sell the items. The profit is made the moment you take your money and drop it on an item. And if you drop your money on the wrong item, you are already making losses. It's even more pathetic because you have listened to some of these videos, you've taken the little money you have, you've bought a lot of inventories, and you realize that you can't even sell them, and you make YouTube videos, you are not even getting money from the YouTube content that you make. That's not a good place to be, and this is this problem that I am going to be addressing in this coming year. It's going to be beautiful, it's going to be interesting. If you are not subscribed to the channel, this might be the best time for you to be subscribed so that you get every update of the videos that I will be dropping as we move forward. Until then, I'm going to be wishing you guys a happy weekend. Until I see you again in the next one, peace.